All right. I was looking forward to that Monday night game for a while. Jacksonville against Kansas City. I told you a little bit earlier this afternoon that I thought that Jacksonville's defense would do some stuff to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes and that offense. And yes, Devin Lloyd, the 99-yard pick six. And this game, this might have turned into not a true blowout, but a commanding win for Jacksonville had it been officiated properly. There on the Trevor Lawrence interception shortly after the Jacksonville pick six that gave them the lead in this game, there was a blatantly missed pass interference call. And that allowed the Chiefs to get back into it. But Jacksonville becomes the seventh team in the NFL with a 4-1 record. So all of a sudden, that 49ers loss a week ago to Jacksonville, I don't think is going to be viewed as harshly. We knew this was a really good defense when we watched them. I was in the locker room at SoFi Stadium a few days ago, and the vibe in there was that the Rams had a good front, but Jacksonville's was even better. And they were without Trayvon Walker today, and they were able to get the job done against Kansas City, even despite the fact that a couple of those key calls went against them. There was another missed pass interference a little bit later in this game as well. But how about Trevor Lawrence stumbling twice? They interviewed him after the game. I had to watch that. And they asked him, well, what were you thinking as you were on the ground? And he said, I was just panicking. And yeah, it definitely was a situation in which to panic, but he was able to get up. It's hard to get up with a football in your hand because you can't like press the football down against the ground to help yourself get up, especially if you don't know where the pass rushers may be with any sort of exactitude. So really, really fun play. And then Lawrence was able to run in for the winning touchdown. This right now, by the way, is up on the San Francisco Standard. My article from the 49ers first quarter of the season, which includes the Jacksonville game. That's their only loss. Jacksonville is prolific when it comes to generating takeaways. We saw that at Levi's Stadium. They had those 4 takeaways against the 49ers. Obviously, some lucky bounces came Jacksonville's way, but they're doing this every single game. Today, they did not need a lucky bounce. Today, it was Patrick Mahomes, a very short pass, just going straight to Devin Lloyd, who was able to return it 99 yards, one of the more exciting pick sixes that you'll see. The Jags, you can gain yardage on this defense, as we know from that 49ers game last week. Brock Purdy with the turf toe coming in at less than 100%, aggravated the injury during the game, was able to lead the 49ers offense to 400-plus yards. And I think Kansas City today was almost near 500 yards. But the one back-breaking interception from Patrick Mahomes to Devin Lloyd was enough to give Jacksonville an upper hand. And, I'll say that this Jaguars team is blossoming because Travis Hunter is starting to make plays both sides of the ball. Today he had a couple key ones on offense. They had Diami Brown back. He didn't play against the 49ers. And then there was just a dime from Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr. on that last game-winning drive. I thought that Lawrence, there were a couple boneheaded plays again from Trevor. He had those delay of games against the 49ers. He had another one when they're right there in scoring range to try to take over the lead at the very end of the game. And it's like, you can't take a delay of game there. He did. And they were able to climb out of it. They got a call in their favor. It was obvious pass interference against Connor, against covering Brian Thomas Jr. there in the back of the end zone. But I couldn't believe that Lawrence let himself get sacked without throwing the ball away as he was out of the pocket earlier in that drive, and then took the delay of game. Still, they're able to beat the Chiefs, who will overjoy 49ers fans to know that the Chiefs are 2-3. Kansas City's got a losing record. And, I hate the double standard, and I tweeted this. I'm sure that a lot of the people who are blaming Brock Purdy for deflected interceptions are going to completely ignore the fact that this Patrick Mahomes pick was the most inexcusable type of interception you can throw. You need to at least get 3 points when you're down there in a tie game. And instead, this wasn't tipped. He threw it right into a defender's chest on a point-blank pass. that traveled no more than 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. And the point is that all quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions. And to act like only one of them does, which I think a lot of the media and a lot of social media seems to do, it's the draftism that we talk about with Brock Purdy, just because they want to confirm their initial biases, that people seem very uncomfortable with acknowledging evidence that the draft is a crapshoot, probably because it makes all of their talking over the course of April all the more meaningless. So they don't want Brock Purdy to be good, right? If that's the reason, then that's as good of a hypothesis that I have as any. So for whatever reason, he is punished more for his interceptions, even though they aren't his fault, than somebody like Patrick Mahomes when he throws right into the chest of Devin Lloyd and he takes it back 99 yards. And that was obviously way worse than anything that Brock Purdy threw against Jacksonville last week. 2 tipped interceptions for Brock Purdy against Jacksonville last week. So just pointing out some of that hypocrisy. And Jacksonville, with all those takeaways, you do have to give them credit for getting into position to make these plays. I don't think that it's a ferocious defense in terms of just suffocating you like the Legion of Boom. But maybe that doesn't exist in the NFL anymore. Maybe with all the rules geared toward the offensive side of the football, you've got to be opportunistic defensively. And, Jacksonville, with all these interceptions, I think they've got 11 now on the season. They're in double digits at this point. All these picks for the Jags, the 49ers do not have a pick since last November. The 49ers are the first team since 1932 to not have a pick, not have an interception in 12 straight games. Now, I know the 49ers have gotten close. I know that against Jacksonville, Upton Stout had a football in his hands and caught, and he was running back with it. And then there was a very, very questionable pass interference penalty that the 49ers obviously disagreed with. That would have broken the streak, but it didn't because the pass interference penalty did come in. I know that Matthew Stafford tried to serve up the 49ers 1 or 2. D. Winters was unable to catch the ball. I will maintain that I do not believe that the 49ers are hopelessly out of position to get potential interceptions like they were back in 2018 when they finished the season with an NFL record low 2 of them. I think that they've been in position against Lawrence and Jacksonville. Warner got his hands on a couple as well, on top of the Upton Stout one, which was called back due to the penalty. So I would say that if the 49ers stay the course, and I know that right now the pass rush is weakened, so it's probably going to be a little bit harder to find these. But if they stay the course with what they've been doing coverage-wise on the back end, at some point they're going to catch one of these. And then they're going to hope that turns into, contagious activity for more interceptions beyond that. On my article up on the San Francisco Standard, you could see here, we talked about the 49ers 4-1 start. We went through a number of things. We have a bunch of the quarterback graphs. I'm actually really curious to see where Trevor Lawrence is on here. But first, let me go through the quarterback graph, the running back graph. We had a O-line chart. I think I might have to refresh this to get that O-line chart to pop up and work. There it is. We got the chart showing the pass block grade percentage for the 49ers, a percentile score, run block grade percentile score, and then a receiving division for San Francisco. So this is kind of my quarter report for the 49ers after they went through quite a few good opponents. I mean, tonight was a matchup of tier 2 teams between the Jags and the Kansas City Chiefs. What do I mean by that? I mean this, and maybe technically tier 3 because the Colts are by themselves in tier 1. But right here, you go X-axis for offense, Y-axis for defense. Kansas City found themselves right under the Washington logo. Jacksonville's up there. So that's why this game was determined in the final minute, because both of these teams were very evenly matched. The efficiency would lead you to believe that they're on the same par as the Denver Broncos, the Rams, Tampa Bay, Seattle. Look who's still looming up here in this tier. The offense has not been great for the Houston Texans. I guess it was better against Baltimore the other day, but the defense has been playing really well for the Texans. So the Texans find themselves in tier 3. The 49ers are in tier 4. They're obviously very shorthanded right now. We'll see if they continue working their way up the pecking order here. But they've beaten teams a tier above them 2 out of 3 times. The one loss was to Jacksonville. If you're the 49ers and you're here in 5 games and you're 4-1, so you're tied for the best record in the NFL, you could say, well, if you're the 49ers, you could say our one loss came by the skin of our teeth to another 4-1 team. That's not bad, right? It's not bad at all. And I think that there was some underestimation of Jacksonville based on what they had been last year, based on the fact that the 49ers beat them, 34-3, I think it was in 2023. Stuff changes really quickly in this league. And Liam Cohn has obviously done a good job there. Anthony Campanile with the defense has done a good job. They're turning the ball over a lot. Trevor is generally protecting it on offense. They've added a weapon on both sides of the ball in Travis Hunter. They've got a decent offensive line. You've got to tip your cap to what Jacksonville has been able to do. So just like we predicted before this game, they were going to give Kansas City some trouble with potentially with some of those takeaways. They did exactly that. They have now beaten the 49ers and they've beaten the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks. And, special teams didn't play as large of a role in this game, but except for at the very end when Harrison Butker gave Jacksonville the ball at the 40-yard line. That really kickstarted that game-winning drive. But it played a much bigger role when the 49ers and Jacksonville played a week ago. San Francisco's offense and defense actually outscored the Jags' offense and defense 21-20, but it was the punt return from Parker Washington that proved to be the winning difference. So when we look at a team tier chart like this, you got to remember that special teams is not considered, and special teams has proven to be a big-time difference maker in a lot of these games, including when the 49ers played Jacksonville. And I guess you could say today as well, Harrison Butker with that kickoff that didn't get the job done. It's so punitive these days to not get in the landing zone and be penalized. If you're in a touchback, it's the 35. If it's a penalty, it's the 40. That used to be the punishment for kicking out of bounds, a legal procedure, which obviously was rare, but it was a bad punishment back in the day. Well, now it's like any run-of-the-mill touchback essentially gets you to that spot of the field. So it's really, really tough. I'm ready to answer some questions, talk a little bit more about the Jags beating the Chiefs tonight. There are now 7 4-1 teams in the NFL, correct? Yes, Brock is QB1. Mac is a very good QB2. I just wonder when we'll next see Brock. In this article up on the Standard, I talked about the 49ers strategy for that. I talked about practice today. You should go check it out. I'm going to give it to Mike right now. Give him the link so you could toss it into the description. Mike's got another efficiency chart. It's the same one that Mike sent me. With the Titans and the Bengals at the bottom left, the 49ers just slightly in the upper right corner, and Jacksonville and the Chiefs along a similar tier, although Jacksonville playing much better defense than Kansas City. Kansas City's offense better than Jacksonville's. Can I get an Eddie Pinheiro interview? We'd love to know more about him. Yeah, sure. I'll go ask Eddie if he wants to do an interview. Eddie De Niro, huh? What does he think of the nickname, Eddie De Niro? Yeah, we talk a lot because we are always looking at his field goal percentage. He recently passed Harrison Butker for all-time field goal percentage. So he's number 3 behind only Cameron Dicker and Justin Tucker. And he's very, very close to passing Justin Tucker for all-time in field goal accuracy. Butker has missed 5 times this year. Harrison Butker's not having a good year. He didn't miss today. He made his kicks today, but I think there was only an extra point, right? I think they scored touchdowns today. So I think he made his 4 extra points. But Harrison Butker has slipped because of those misses under Eddie Pinheiro, who's only made this season. I think it's 11 straight makes for Eddie. So maybe we can talk to him in the locker room. Eddie De Niro this week. What a wild few days it's been for the 49ers and their fans. You get to relax over the course of the weekend, but as you're doing so, you watch the 49ers become the best record in the NFC, Philadelphia's loss. You watch the entire NFC West outside of San Francisco throw up on themselves. I mean, LA did it in the game against the 49ers, so they were direct beneficiaries, but the Cardinals suffered one of the more embarrassing losses that I've ever seen. And the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold, great all game, threw a pick, bounced off of a helmet on the last drive, less than a minute to go. Tampa Bay nailed it through. So great weekend for the 49ers in the West. Then the Buffalo Bills lost on Sunday night, which made the 49ers have the best record in football. They're tied with now 6 other teams at 4-1 since Jacksonville just joined that party, beating the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's the one team that has beaten the 49ers, and if they can win a lot of games, then it's going to make that 49ers loss look better and better. It was a tough game against Jacksonville, and the 49ers were still a drop, but one key drop away from winning it, or good, better punt coverage away from winning that game, because offense and defense actually outscored the Jaguars a week ago for San Francisco. Mac Jones would need to win one more game to earn his $400,000 bonus, but I think he's going to have a chance to do so. I would expect Mac to be under center this week. Okay. This is a funny question. Do I think T-Law would have made the first down, the first goal line TD if he had cut his hair? It definitely weighed him down, and the fumble resulted. He missed it by like an angstrom, right? An angstrom is a very, very tiny unit of measurement. Like way less. You have to get a microscope, and probably a really powerful microscope, out to measure angstroms. That's where Trevor Lawrence missed, like by an angstrom there. So maybe the hair weighed him down a little bit. We'll let it go. We'll let that theory prevail. Huge test in Tampa Bay come Sunday. Am I going to be there? Yes, sir. I will be there on Sunday. I can't wait. I think it's going to be nice and warm in Tampa Bay. I've heard 85. I haven't fact-checked that to verify. I'm guessing Tampa Bay is going to put on their white uniforms like last year, make the 49ers wear the home reds. San Francisco can't choose in this game. So, but maybe I'm wrong. I haven't looked to see the uniform matchup yet in this game. So that would be nice for the 49ers if they could wear their road whites, but I'm not sure Tampa Bay, being a Florida team, is going to let that happen. Couple more questions. Baker Mayfield is 0-4 against the 49ers. That is a funny stat. So I'm thinking Cleveland Browns 2019, right? 49ers beat them bad. That was like a 30-3 game, something like that. Baker was the quarterback. Let's see how good my memory is. So in 2019, Baker was on Monday Night Football, the quarterback of the Browns. Then in 2024, last year, Baker Mayfield was the QB of the Bucks, and the 49ers beat him late. That's where he fended off Nick Bosa. That's 2. In 2022, Baker Mayfield was the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, and the 49ers beat him. And Christian McCaffrey scored a touchdown for Carolina in that game. And then the 49ers would trade for Christian a few weeks later. So that's 3. I've got 3 of 4 right now. I'm trying to think of I don't think Baker was with the Tampa Bay Bucks yet in 2023 when the 49ers beat them. That was somebody else, right? What's the 4th game? I can remember 3. I think that's impressive. When's the 4th one, though? Mike, do you got the 4th one? Somebody give me a hint. Don't tell me. Somebody give me a hint in the comment section. 2019, 2022, 2024. When else did the 49ers play Baker Mayfield? Because Brady was the QB in 2022 for Tampa Bay. Was Baker already the QB in 2023? Am I going crazy here? I got to look this out. Got to look this up. Mike is texting me. Maybe Mike has the answer for me. No, Baker did not beat the 49ers last year, Mike. Mike is trying to tell me that Baker beat the 49ers. The 49ers beat Baker last year. I was at that game. Don't gaslight me. It was in Tampa Bay, and the 49ers won. That was the game that Jake Moody missed all those kicks, but then he won at the very end. So Baker did not beat the 49ers last year. I don't remember here. Baker Mayfield versus 49ers. I'm Googling this. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, 2023. Baker was already the QB of the Bucs in 2023. There we go. I didn't realize that he was already there in 2020. Something told me that 2024 was the first year. So 0-4, 2023, 2024. In the 2023 game, Purdy hit Ayuk for a deep touchdown to essentially put that away in the second half. I remember that. Cleveland, Carolina, twice with Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield has never beaten the 49ers. Mike goes, I swear he beat us. Never mind. He was close. Jake Moody was close to beating his own team in that game, but he couldn't quite do it. It caused the shoving match between Deebo Samuel and Tabor Pepper. Baker did beat Bosa last year, but he didn't beat the 49ers. That is correct. The 49ers are actually going to be in their road whites this weekend. I haven't even checked on it. That's a break for the 49ers. It really is. With the heat that we're going to see on that field. I'm guessing 85 degrees. And it's going to be humid as well. I think that all is going to be right in the world if the 49ers actually wear their white jerseys on the road, which they did against the Rams. That everything was right in the world. Nothing was right in the world when they wore their white jerseys with gold pants at home at Levi's. I understand the throwbacks, but to wear your whites at home, come on. I think that might have set them up for that loss against Jacksonville. Not good for the 49ers. Purdy can beat the Bucs if Tom Brady is playing. So Purdy is 3-0 against the Bucs, right? That was his first career start with Tom Brady on the other side. Then he beat Baker Mayfield in 2023. And then he beat Baker Mayfield again in 2024. But I think this time it's going to be Mac Jones. I would brace yourself for Mac Jones again this week for the 49ers because they're playing the long game with Brock Purdy. I want to thank our sponsor, Ridge Wallets. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with the Ridge AirTag attachment, you'll always know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create premium everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all their products. So for a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using the code Lombardi at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use the code Lombardi and you're all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Again, go to ridge.com, code Lombardi, and you'll be all set with 10% off these nice wallets that can hold up to 12 cards plus cash. One more question. How about that? Does the Jacksonville loss against KC lessen the loss the 49ers took in week 4? Or does KC suck more than the 49ers this season? The 49ers lost to a 4-1 team, and that's their only loss. I think that's the way you look at it. Jacksonville's a good team. Patrick Mahomes is obviously a good quarterback. Kansas City has got flaws. Mahomes, though, 99-yard pick six. Difference in this game. Jacksonville takes the ball away. Brock Purdy took a lot of heat in that game, but he was playing on a turf toe, and it's one of those things where a couple bounces the other direction and the 49ers would have won. The margins in this league are very, very thin. So I think this should make people appreciate the 49ers 4-1 record a little bit more, since Jacksonville is now 4-1. Kansas City is 2-3. I will be signing off for the night. Wanted to give you the nice instant reaction. Jags beat the Chiefs. Go check out the article up on the San Francisco Standard. Tossing it in the description. If I remember, I'll pin it up in the comments section as well. Bunch of other content today, as Malik Mustafa was back out at practice for the 49ers, and they're going to have Tuesday off before Wednesday, getting ready for Tampa Bay. So speaking of Florida, we just saw Jacksonville, Florida, the home of Mac Jones, by the way. That's where he grew up. 49ers are going to be headed out to Florida to play Tampa on Sunday. So should be a fun week. Brace yourselves. Hit that subscribe button. We will talk to you soon.